But I think there's a lot of room for the everyday person, average person like myself, or who can also do that. You don't need to be a big player to have a big impact.
Welcome to the Rotary Big Ideas podcast, where we celebrate big ideas that are sparking positive change in Ottawa and around the world. I'm your host, Bastien, and on each episode, we meet a change maker and their big idea. Today, our guest is Christopher Braeuel, the founder of CARITAS Community Wellness Enterprise. So, Chris, what's your big idea?
Well, first, thank you for having me on the podcast. It's a pleasure to be here and share this story. Essentially, back during the COVID days, when there was chance to sort of reflect in this situation we were facing, I had the opportunity to consider, helping people in greater depth, particularly during that difficult time. And I wanted to see how I could take my interest in community philanthropy and take ownership of it in a new direction than I was traditionally used to. And so I thought of a way, how can I creatively support these individual causes and organizations while at the same time helping people with a tangible service. Interestingly, my mother deals with chronic pain. And so I was always giving her feet therapy, feet massage, foot massage, just to help relieve some of the arthritic pain she was having. And through a friend that was doing reflexology, which is a therapeutic treatment that treats the nerves in the feet, the nerve endings in the feet that correspond to the different parts of the body. It's almost like acupressure, acupuncture for the feet using manual manipulation. And I was very interested in that because it provided a lot of relief to my mother. And so I was thinking, how in doing this can I create potentially a business, a social enterprise that will allow me to treat people who are in need, to relieve pain, and then use the funds from that to support my philanthropic interests in the community. This way I can generate money for supporting those causes and then give the people who are being treated the opportunity to choose through a menu of causes that are of interest to me, which ones they would like their funds to go towards. So this is nonprofit. I cover my basic costs for the business. I acquired a certification in reflexology. It's a part-time enterprise, but I'm able to generate enough funds throughout the year treating clients locally to be able to fund the different projects in the community I can through this, specifically through this enterprise, and not out of pocket personally.
That's great. Well, thank you for sharing that. Because you mentioned those causes of interest of yours. So can you tell us about one or two causes that are interest that you want to support?
When I established the enterprise, there were certain initiatives that I was already supporting. I created a fund through Algonquin College to support youth employment, particularly students in the technical fields at Algonquin College. And there was a program we established to enable them to have gainful employment, again, during COVID, with local nonprofits that could benefit from their technical support, which was very valuable, especially during COVID, because a lot of their funds were down and they needed support, and the students could work remotely. So this was very beneficial. Another one was a cultural development fund at Nipissing University, specifically to support Indigenous students, to reconnect with an aspect of culture and heritage in the past, to sort of revive and revitalize their interests, because the younger generation of many of the Indigenous students have lost touch with their past. And so this allows, through Nipissing University, for them to do some particular research or connect with an elder in the community to learn and share that learning with others in their community.
Would you be able to define your big idea in 5 words or less?
I would say the concept really here fundamentally is be creative in your generosity. Many people like to donate, and many people do it from some, if you're a big enterprise, then you can, use a donation as a tax deduction or something. And for other people, they are generous and they can give within their own means tangibly. I wanted to create this because I found I was giving, and I wanted to give more. And so how can I come up with this system whereby I can provide a service that is of value to people in the community? I can offer the service, but to make it appealing, I call it feel good for good. You treat the patient, you treat the person, they feel good. And when they pay for their service, it's but for good. So there's a good, about, I would say, 7 or 8 charities that they can contribute to these through me, 50% of what is made.
Thank you. That is beautiful. I like the 5 words or less. Be creative in your generosity, and I also like the slogan: "Feel good, for good." Exactly. So I
We
mean,
have it on the cup here. This is the
oh,
logo.
so okay, that's a foot right there. Okay,
Yes,
feeling good, for good. That's beautiful. I'd like to move on to the next question.
sure.
So, what's some of challenges that you had to face to implement this idea?
Well, when you're starting something, you have to, of course, have a clear plan. One of the challenges I created my small plan. The idea was instantly, and this I thought this is a wonderful idea. I bounced it off a few people, and they say, "Yeah, that's great," because no one else is doing it in this field. One of the challenges that I faced was I had to first get the certification in reflexology. The challenging part was getting the clients to meet my hours. I had to have over 100 hours during COVID to treat people when everyone was in lockdown many,
Mhm.
many of the times. So being able to get those hours to get the certification to be able to implement the business, that was one of the practical hurdles in doing that. And that was essentially it. I had to control the volume of interest. A lot of business, when they start, enterprises, they struggle to get clients. This wasn't an issue for me. It was quite the opposite. I actually had to temper my marketing. I had to be low key, low profile, word of mouth, because if there was interest, it would easily explode. And that's not a bad thing. It just didn't meet my needs now. And that's why I have it, because down the road, when circumstances evolve and change, I can then invest even more time to generate more funds through it. So it was trying to keep it to 6, 7 dedicated clients that I deal with, and they monthly generate and support, and I treat them, and that works.
I'm very interested in that you said, unlike other people, when they start a business, they want to get people, but for you, you weren't trying not to get too many people. What is it
Right.
that you did?
Networking helps. I have a very specific niche. Okay, so my niche was focused locally. I only treated people within my neighborhood, and I offered a mobile service. But it made my needs. I don't have a home office, so I go to you. I come to you. It's very convenient. So it's very specific, and I also leverage the support of local therapists, so physiotherapists, massage therapists, people in a similar space of health and wellness who treat people and see the benefits and value of reflexology. I don't have a website. I intentionally did not, because I didn't. I had to find a way to limit my exposure and also keep costs down. So I'm able to, in the first month, any clients I treat cover my business costs, and then the remaining 11 months, I'm able to generate enough to support my philanthropic interests.
Is there a role that the Rotary can play to help you?
There's a potential. I'd have to give that honestly some thought to see how these would intersect. One of the initiatives that I'm supporting is the Bright Future School in Tanzania, which is a Montessori school. I've been supporting this scholarships for children who have been orphaned. So it's been very successful. The role of Rotary in this case was to serve as a supporter. Those individual Rotarians across Canada who want to donate can donate. But our particular club is there to provide the transfer of the funding through the Ottawa Community Foundation. So the Ottawa Community Foundation receives the donations, and then the funds are transferred through our club directly to the school. There could be a lot of potential Rotarians in need of reflexology treatment too. And so I think Rotarians are generous by nature, and so I think they'd be inclined, or their friends, to benefit from that treatment and enjoy it and share that opportunity with their friends and family as well.
Oh, beautiful. I mean, we have our viewers, so they know that if they need reflexology, then they know where to go.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. Again, it's CARITAS Community Wellness Enterprise. So you see that? There we go.
There you go. So we're kind of curious, Chris. What is your relation with the Ottawa Community Foundation, and how do you see yourself in the future?
So the Ottawa Community Foundation provides in a very valuable service. It covers the administrative function, creation of websites, and receiving the funds through their organization, which is very valuable. So if you or I have an interest in creating a fund for a dedicated cause, because I've created different funds over the years, and they provide that valuable service because I can't receive the funds. I can't transfer the funds to the beneficiary. And so the process is you come up with an idea. I would like to support this cause, and you develop a tripartite agreement. So there's myself as the fund creator, OCF, Ottawa Community Foundation, as the administrator and the source, the hub, and then the beneficiary or recipient organization, the cause towards you're supporting. So in my case, the two that I have now through OCF are Bright Futures School Scholarship Fund and also the Ottawa Forest School Opportunity Fund, whereby students, young children whose parents can't afford to send them, this provides a fund to send their children to the Ottawa Forest and Nature School, which it gives kids the opportunity to learn in nature in the forest.
Beautiful.
And in terms of your second question about where to in the future, time will tell. I think if I could rub my crystal ball, I would see this concept. There's me expanding the service to more to other people in the community, but there's also the opportunity to spread the idea more broadly. This concept, as I said, being creative in your generosity and engaging with other health professionals, anyone in the community who could adopt a similar concept whereby they take a certain percentage and donate it. And a lot of organizations do that. But I think there's a lot of room for the everyday person, average person like myself, or who can also do that. You don't need to be a big player to have a big impact.
Thank you so much, Chris, for coming in today. We were happy to have you, and we'll look forward to having you again. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Thanks so much for your time. It was great to be here. Thank you.
Thank you for listening and watching. And keep in mind, if you want to make a difference or have a big idea to help others, Rotary is a great organization to connect with and become part of. Check us out. Until next time then, when I ask, What's your big idea?